I've been holding on to a secret for months and it finally happened last week. After years of working extra jobs and saving every penny, I managed to pay off my mom's $58,000 mortgage in full. She never asked for help, never even hinted she was struggling, but I knew it was weighing on her. She's always been the rock in our family, putting everything before herself. The plan was simple: surprise her this Thanksgiving. I booked a 13-hour flight across the country to show up at her door without warning. I wanted to see the look on her face when she realized everything was finally paid off, and that I was there just for her. When I landed, my heart was pounding. I wasn't just nervous about the flight, I was nervous about how she'd react. Would she be happy? Shocked? Or maybe overwhelmed? I showed up at her house late afternoon, carrying a bouquet of her favorite flowers and a handmade card. She opened the door and for a moment, all I saw was confusion. Then tears. She pulled me inside, hugged me tight, and I told her everything, how I'd been saving up, how I wanted her to be free from that burden. Mom sat down with the card and when she read it, she smiled through tears. "I don't know what to say," she whispered. "You've given me the greatest gift I could have ever asked for." That night, we cooked a simple Thanksgiving dinner together. No big plans, just us and the quiet warmth of home. I realized that the mortgage was only part of the story. What really mattered was giving her peace of mind and showing her how much I appreciated everything she's done for me. It's been a few days since then and every time I call, she thanks me again. But honestly, the real gift was seeing her smile. This trip, this surprise, it reminded me how far love can carry you, even across thousands of miles and years of hard work. I'm sharing this here because sometimes the smallest surprises can change a life. And if you're lucky enough to have someone who's always been there for you, maybe it's time to show them just how much they mean to you. The days after Thanksgiving were some of the best I've had in a long time. We spent hours just talking, catching up on all the little moments we'd missed while I was away. Mom showed me old photo albums, told me stories I'd never heard before, and even taught me how to make her famous pumpkin pie, something I'd always wanted to learn but never had the patience for. What struck me the most was how much lighter she seemed. It was like a weight had lifted off her shoulders, and not just because of the mortgage being paid. She told me she'd felt trapped for years, worried about losing the house, about not being able to provide a secure home for me and my siblings. Knowing that's behind her now, it's like she's finally able to breathe again. One evening, as we sat on the porch watching the sun dip below the horizon, she turned to me and said, "You didn't just pay off my mortgage. You gave me hope." That hit me harder than I expected. I hadn't realized how much she needed that reassurance, not just financially but emotionally. She's always been the strong one, but even the strongest people need someone to lean on. Before I left, she hugged me tight and said, "Thank you for being my hero." I felt like I'd done more than just surprise her. I'd reminded her that she's not alone. The trip changed me too. It made me appreciate how far love and sacrifice can go, and how sometimes, the best gift isn't something you can wrap. It's simply being there when it matters most. Leaving was harder than I expected. After spending those few days with Mom, I realized how much I'd missed just being around her. The little things like her laugh, her quiet strength, and even her stubbornness. The house felt different, somehow warmer. It wasn't just the mortgage being gone, it was the hope and relief in the air. Before I got on the plane back, Mom handed me a small envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter. She wrote about her pride in me, how grateful she was not just for the help, but for the love behind it. She said that sometimes, life struggles can make us forget what really matters, but moments like this remind us to hold on to family. I kept the letter with me the whole flight home. Reading it over and over made me realize that my surprise wasn't just for her, it was for both of us. It was a reminder that no matter where life takes us, we're connected by more than just blood. Now, every time I call, she talks about plans for the future, things she never dared to consider before. A small trip, maybe even some home renovations. I'm happy she's finally dreaming again. And honestly, I'm proud too. Proud that I could give her that gift, but more proud of the person she is, strong, kind, and endlessly loving. This Thanksgiving turned out to be the best one yet, not because of the food or the traditions, but because of the love we shared. And that's a gift neither of us will ever forget. Since I got back home, I've been thinking a lot about everything that happened. It wasn't just about paying off the mortgage or flying halfway across the country. It was about healing a part of our relationship that had quietly been strained by distance and unspoken worries. For years, Mom carried the weight of that debt silently, and I carried the guilt of not being there sooner to help. That trip reminded me how important it is to show up for the people we love, not just with words but with actions. Sometimes life gets so busy, so complicated, that we forget the power of a simple gesture. A surprise visit, a helping hand, or just being present. I realized that love isn't just about big moments, it's about the everyday choices we make to support each other. Mom and I have always been close, but this experience deepened our bond in ways I hadn't expected. She's opened up more about her fears, her hopes, and even her regrets. And I've shared parts of myself I usually keep guarded. It feels like we're building something new, an unbreakable foundation rooted in honesty and trust. I also saw how much a financial burden can affect someone's spirit. Clearing that mortgage didn't just give Mom financial freedom, it gave her emotional freedom. Freedom to dream again, to breathe easier, and to enjoy life without the constant shadow of worry. Looking ahead, I want to keep that momentum going. I'm planning to visit more often, not just for holidays but whenever I can. I want us to keep making memories, sharing stories, and supporting each other through whatever life throws at us. Because if there's one thing this whole journey has taught me, it's that family is everything, and sometimes the best surprises are the ones that bring us back home to each other. If you're reading this and thinking about reaching out to someone you love, don't wait. Life is unpredictable, and the moments we take for granted can disappear in an instant. Whether it's a call, a visit, or a simple act of kindness, those gestures matter more than we realize. Trust me, the joy on your loved one's face will be worth every mile, every effort, and every tear. Since that Thanksgiving surprise, things have shifted in ways I never imagined. Mom's house isn't just a place to live anymore. It's a symbol of resilience, love, and new beginnings. Every time I think about that moment when she first saw me standing on her doorstep, I get this warm, unstoppable feeling inside. It's like we both breathed in a fresh start. The mortgage was a huge burden, yes, but what really stayed with me was how much Mom had carried silently, not just the debt but the worry about the future, about what might happen if she couldn't keep the home she built with so much sacrifice. It made me realize how easy it is to overlook the quiet battles people fight every day, even those we love the most. I'm grateful I got to be the one to lift that weight from her shoulders. But more than that, I'm grateful for the chance to reconnect on a deeper level. We talked for hours, about her dreams she shelved, about mistakes, about hopes for the future. She told me things she'd never shared before, like how lonely it sometimes felt raising us on her own, and how scared she was to ask for help. Those conversations changed me. They reminded me that strength isn't about never falling, but about having the courage to lean on others when we need to. I saw a new side of Mom, so human, so vulnerable, yet still so fiercely loving. Since then, she started to plan little things for herself. A trip she's always wanted to take, a new hobby, even small home improvements she'd put off for years. It's like she's reclaiming parts of her life that fear and worry had stolen. For me, this experience has been a powerful lesson in gratitude and presence. I've realized that love isn't just about grand gestures, but about showing up consistently with patience and understanding. It's about celebrating the small victories and being there through the struggles. If there's one thing I want anyone reading this to take away, it's this. Don't wait for the perfect moment to tell someone you love them or to show them you care. Life's too unpredictable, and the time to make those moments count is now. Whether it's a phone call, a visit, or a simple message, your effort can mean more than you realize. This journey wasn't just about paying off a mortgage, it was about healing, growing, and deepening a bond that will carry us through whatever comes next. I'm so proud of Mom, and I'm proud of myself for taking that leap. Sometimes the biggest surprises lead to the most beautiful beginnings. It's been a few weeks since I returned home, but the memories from that trip still feel incredibly vivid. I keep thinking about how a simple act, a surprise visit combined with paying off a mortgage, ended up being so much more than just a financial gesture. It became a catalyst for healing old wounds and opening new doors for both of us. Mom has started to talk about her future in a way I've never heard before. She's no longer worried about the what-ifs. Instead, she's planning little adventures, like a weekend getaway to a place she's always wanted to see, or taking a painting class she's been curious about. The weight of years of stress seems to have lifted, and it's inspiring to watch her rediscover her joy. I also noticed something else, the way our family dynamic has changed. My siblings and I have been more present with her, more connected as a family unit. It's like paying off that mortgage broke down more than just financial walls. It broke down emotional walls we didn't even realize were there. We're calling more, visiting more, and sharing parts of our lives we used to keep to ourselves. For me personally, this experience has been transformative. I've learned that sometimes the biggest challenges are not the ones you see on paper but the ones hidden beneath the surface. Mom's mortgage was a number, but the real struggle was the fear and isolation she felt. Being able to give her peace of mind reminded me that sometimes what people need most is not just money or help but the reassurance that they're not alone. I've started thinking about what I want the future to look like, not just for Mom but for myself. I want to keep nurturing these relationships, to keep showing up in meaningful ways. Life has a way of throwing unexpected challenges, but with the people you love by your side, those challenges become easier to face. If you've read this far, maybe it's a sign to reach out to someone you care about. Don't wait for perfect timing or for a big moment. Sometimes the smallest gestures can change the course of someone's life, and yours too. At the end of the day, I'm incredibly grateful for that 13-hour flight, for the chance to surprise Mom, and for the opportunity to remind her, and myself, what family truly means. This Thanksgiving was more than a holiday, it was a new chapter full of hope, love, and endless possibilities. Since that Thanksgiving surprise, I found myself reflecting more and more on the true meaning of home and family. It's funny how a place can be so much more than just four walls and a roof. It's the memories, the laughter, the quiet moments, and the unspoken support that make it a sanctuary. Mom's house now feels like that in every way, not just because the mortgage is paid off, but because it's filled with renewed hope and love. One thing I didn't expect was how much the experience changed me internally. Paying off the mortgage was a huge goal, but the real reward was seeing my mom breathe easier, smile brighter, and dream bigger. It made me realize that sometimes, the best gift you can give isn't something tangible, it's peace of mind and emotional freedom. We've started planning more time together. I'm making a real effort to be physically present, not just through calls or texts. I want to build new traditions with her, maybe a summer trip or a monthly dinner. We both need that connection now more than ever. This journey also opened my eyes to how many people out there carry invisible burdens. So many families struggle silently with debt, health issues, or emotional weight. It's easy to think that because someone looks okay on the outside, everything's fine, but that's rarely the case. This has made me want to be more compassionate and proactive, to reach out to friends and family more often and offer help where I can. I've even started volunteering locally, helping people with financial counseling and support. If my story can inspire even one person to take that first step, then it's worth sharing. Sometimes, a small act of kindness can ripple out farther than we expect. Mom's more optimistic now. She started dreaming about the future again, things she had to put aside for years. She talks about painting, traveling, maybe even starting a small garden in the backyard. It's beautiful to watch her reclaim parts of herself that had been hidden under worry. For me, this whole experience was a reminder that love isn't just about words or feelings. It's about showing up, taking action, and being willing to fight for the people you care about. It's about those moments when you surprise someone, not just with a gift, but with your presence and your heart. I'm still amazed that a 13-hour flight and a paid-off mortgage could lead to so much healing and growth. It's proof that sometimes the biggest gestures don't come from grand plans, but from genuine love and determination. If you've ever thought about reaching out to someone, whether to offer help, to say thank you, or just to say, "I love you," don't hesitate. Those moments matter more than we realize. Life is unpredictable, but love, when nurtured, can be a constant light in the dark. As the weeks turn into months, I realize the surprise was just the beginning of a new chapter for both of us. Mom's energy has shifted in a way that fills the whole house. There's laughter where there used to be quiet tension, plans where there was uncertainty. It's like she's rediscovered a part of herself that had been buried under years of worry. We're making plans now, small ones but meaningful. A family trip next summer, maybe a weekend retreat just for us two, and even a garden project she's excited about. Watching her eyes light up with these new dreams reminds me that freedom isn't just about money, it's about having the space to hope and create. I've also noticed how much this has affected me personally. I'm more patient, more present. I'm reaching out more, not just to Mom but to others in my life. This experience showed me how fragile time can be and how important it is to make the most of the moments we have. Sometimes, when I think back to that day I landed and surprised her, it feels almost unreal. But the emotions, the tears, the hugs, the relief, they were all so raw and real. It was a reminder that sometimes love speaks loudest through actions, not just words. I want to believe that this story can inspire others, maybe someone reading this right now who's struggling with their own burdens. Whether it's debt, distance, or emotional walls, there's always a way to break through if you're willing to try. You don't have to do it all at once. Small steps matter. Mom and I talk more now than ever before. We're rebuilding not just a home, but a relationship strengthened by honesty and hope. And every time I hear her laugh or see her smile without worry, I know it was worth every sacrifice. This journey has taught me that the greatest gift we can give someone isn't something wrapped in paper. It's the gift of peace, presence, and love. And that sometimes, the longest flights lead us right back to where we belong. Looking back, I realized that flying 13 hours to surprise Mom, and paying off her mortgage, was about so much more than just money or distance. It was about showing up when it mattered most, about healing old wounds, and about reminding each other that family is the foundation that holds us steady, no matter what life throws our way. Mom told me recently that this Thanksgiving was the best she's had in years. Not because of the food or the traditions, but because of the love we shared. That means everything to me. It reminded me that the biggest impact comes from the smallest moments of kindness and connection. Since then, our lives have shifted in beautiful ways. We're closer, more open, and more present with each other. The mortgage was the starting point, but what really changed was how we see and support one another. That sense of freedom, hope, and love now fills the house, and it fills my heart. I'm grateful for every late night spent saving, every long hour on that plane, and every tear of joy we shared when I surprised her. It taught me that love isn't just a feeling, it's action, sacrifice, and the willingness to be there no matter the miles or challenges. If there's one thing I want anyone reading this to take away, it's this. Never underestimate the power of a heartfelt surprise or the impact of showing up for someone you love. Life is unpredictable, but love, when nurtured, creates a light that never goes out. So, to anyone out there thinking about doing something big for someone they care about, go for it. Because sometimes those big gestures change lives, but even more often they remind us of the simple truth. Family is everything.